Oh good, another Mega Charizard Y Sneasler team. How original. And I just know that I'll try to play smart and predict what surprising moves they might use when in reality, we both know they're just gonna click Heat Wave and Fake Out on turn 1, and then when they switch in King Gambit and Basculegion in the endgame, my non-meta team will try to play around specific stat spreads and held items when it's obviously just gonna be a one-shot from Sucker Punch and Choice Scarf Last Respects. I'm so sick of it. Everyone running the same team. I wish I could disrupt this somehow. Everyone running the same moves on the same Pokemon. Everyone choosing the same moves every turn. The same damn moves. Wait. That's it. The same move. What if I ran a team no one would ever suspect? A team where all 6 of my Pokemon only know the same one move. People would expect me to choose something else on turn 4 or 5 or 12, but no, it's the same move again. I couldn't pick another one if I wanted to. The ultimate double bluff. If I beat them, they'll be humiliated. This is it. Look to camera. Blink. That'd be a good YouTube video. Cut to title card. The first most obvious question is, what move do we choose? We need it to be a move that some viably strong Pokemon can learn, we need it to be a move that isn't resisted by a lot of common meta threats, and we need it to be a move with some decent base power. Now that's a lot of criteria, but frankly, a lot of those criteria can be solved by just one question. What type do we choose? Once we pick the type for our move, whatever that's gonna be, ground, dragon, fairy, whatever, that'll massively cut down on the total number of moves that we need to sift through in order to pick the one final choice. Now, in order to do this, I decided to give every type in the game a score based on how it matched up both offensively and defensively against every other type in the game. And in order to do this, I turned to the mathematician's best friend, the spreadsheet. And of course, if you're a longtime ADEF enjoyer, or even if this is just the second or third video of mine you've ever seen, then you'll know that we're about to go to a place that we go in every single video. And you already know what it is, you're already thinking it, in fact, you've already screamed it out loud at your monitor, you're so excited to see it. Of course, my friends, I'm talking about our favorite place, again, the place we go every single time. The Spreadsheet Zone. Greetings, zoners. Guys, you already know what time it is, okay? It's Spreadsheet Zone time. Okay, so I've made this spreadsheet in order to tabulate the scores for every type in the game with how they match up offensively against every other type. If we look at the rubric here, the way I decided to score it was to weight more extreme situations more heavily than neutrality. So what I mean by that is, like, if you use a grass type move on a water type that's super effective, you get a score of +2. And then we compare how grass type does on every type in the game. So against dragon, it gets a -2 because that's not very effective, but on normal types, it gets a neutral score of just +1. We've also got the immunity modifier, but we'll get to that in a second. So if we look at the grass type, for example, the grass type has a score without immunity of 0. With all of its type matchups across the entire cast, all of these types, including itself, added together, it gets a 0, which is tied for the worst score in the game. So a lot of the types here, right, like normal gets an 11, that's a very neutral score in the grand scheme of things. Fighting and poison, although they match up super effectively well into a lot of types, overall their neutral game is pretty bad, and they also have a lot of resisted types, which means that they wind up with a low score of 7. Steel, same picture with a 9. However, the best performers tied, and they are by far the best performers, are ground and ghost. These types are just so good. However, this is where we need to take into account the immunity modifier. And the reason I have them in 2 separate tabs is because, right, like I wanted to know how every type matched up broadly into the entire cast, but immunity is really important. Since I only have one move, if the type of the move I choose, if there's a type that's immune to that, that means that there are Pokemon I just can't hit. Because again, I don't have another move to choose, which means I cannot win the battle. So we need to take that into account, and the way I do that is I multiply the score by 0 if there is any type in the game that is fully immune to that type. So normal goes from an 11 to a 0 because ghost is fully immune to normal, which means we can't choose it. Same thing for ground and ghost. So even though ground and ghost were our best performers by far, they both become 0. The reason for this is that normal is fully immune to ghost, and of course the flying type is fully immune to ground, and there are a lot of normal types and a lot of flying types. Even if there weren't that many, it would still matter because there are some Pokemon I wouldn't be able to attack. So although I'd love to pick a ground type move because ground is really strong and very good, I just can't. And that leaves us with the best performer, and I found this kind of surprising, being the rock type. There is not a single Pokemon type that is fully immune to rock type, and it matches up really well against the entire cast. It's super effective on a ton of types. So although its neutral game isn't incredible and there are quite a few types that resist it, it is super effective on a lot, including a lot of Pokemon in Champions. Now that doesn't mean we have to pick rock, right? Fairy gets a 12, Flying gets a 12, Water has a 12. Those are all just 1 point behind rock. But if we go based on just the hard maths of it all, based on my tabulations, we should probably be looking at a rock type, maybe Fairy, Flying, or Water, but probably a rock type move. So on day 1 of this challenge, I booted up my stream, eager to discuss my findings with Twitch chat, and we could all work together to decide what the best possible rock type move was gonna be. And that's when it happened. Somebody in chat made a truly brilliant suggestion that for some reason I just hadn't even thought of. There are some Pokemon and Pokemon Champions with abilities that change normal type moves into other types. Take Primarina, for example. Primarina has the ability Liquid Voice. When Primarina uses a sound-based normal type move, like Hyper Voice for example, the move changes from normal type into water type. This means we could use more than one type while only using one move. Hi, Editor Adef here. Something I just want to say really quick because I know you're already typing a comment about it. Okay, you can stop typing. Liquid Voice works on any sound-based move regardless of type. It's just that the vast majority of sound-based moves we care about are normal type moves, but all the other abilities that I'm going to talk about in this video are specifically changing normal type into a different relevant type. But yeah, Liquid Voice is just any sound-based move into water type. Okay, back to the video. Primarina's Liquid Voice isn't the only example. Pixelate changes normal type moves into fairy type moves and boosts their power by 20%. There are a lot of great normal type moves, but I landed on wanting to use a special normal type move instead of a physical normal type move for a few reasons. First of all, it means Intimidate won't affect our game plan, but also I knew I wanted Mega Gardevoir here. The reason being that Fairy is just an incredibly good offensive type, and I also have a shiny Gardevoir from my playthrough of Legend ZA that ideally I would like to use. Hyper Voice was an option my Twitch chat and I thought about pretty early on in the discussion, since it's a really powerful spread move, and for an ability like Liquid Voice, which requires a sound-based move, it'll still work. But that led to an idea from chat that once I heard it, I knew I had to do it. You see, there's another sound-based move in Pokemon Champions that is very often overlooked because it's, by all rights, usually not that good. But for this very specific circumstance, I think it low-key might actually be one of the best choices. And it's hilarious. Let me introduce you to Round. Round is a 60 base power, special, sound-based normal type move. At face value, 60 base power, not great. However, after a Pokemon uses Round on a given turn, if another Pokemon on the field also selected Round that turn, they will immediately go next regardless of speed. And the base power of that next round will be doubled. This means I can pair a strong special attacker like Mega Gardevoir next to a much faster Pokemon, have the faster Pokemon fully invest into speed and go first, delivering a weak round, and then Mega Gardevoir, which I'll invest fully into special attack, will immediately go next regardless of her speed and deliver a full-on 120 base power stab boosted, pixelate boosted fairy type round. So my mind was made up that I wanted to use Round, but that doesn't mean that all of the work we went through in the spreadsheet zone before just goes to waste. Because now that we know we can change Round into multiple different types, we can use our information of what types are good to influence our decision making. Because there are a lot of different abilities, like I said earlier, that allow you to change normal type moves into other types, but we want to know which abilities we should prioritize, and part of that decision making is based on which Pokemon that have them are actually strong or good, but also things like Fairy and Water should be types we prioritize, right? Pixelate from Mega Gardevoir is great, and we know it's good because Fairy has a score of 12, and Liquid Voice from Primarina we also know is good because that's another type that scores really highly on my super effective scoring metric. So although we lose our ability to get Rock type here, I don't think it's actually that much of a loss because we can spread our damage neutrally across a lot of other types and thus hit a bunch of different types super effectively. I built an initial version of this team on my stream on day 1 and lost a lot. I was trying to use Mega Drampa as a strong normal type special attacker paired with Dragapult as a really fast Pokemon to open the round use, and then a few fairy types to round out my team. But I just kept losing. I was really bad against basically any ghost type, and I was struggling to maneuver very much, which is partly due to the team building, but also due to the fact that, you know, I only have one move. But I learned a lot of lessons and returned to the drawing board that night off stream to come up with some new ideas. And when I returned to stream the next day, I returned with the following team ready to win. Hi there, I'm here to check if you're subscribed. It's right beneath the video. Click the button if you're not subscribed. It takes like 2 seconds, and it does unironically help the channel more than you think. I know YouTubers come up a lot in the middle of videos and they're like, please subscribe, it really helps. But it actually does. It really genuinely does. So please subscribe. I don't want you to miss the next amazing video if you're enjoying this one, and you don't want to miss it either. So just subscribe, okay? I'm gonna slowly fade down. I'm going, bye-bye. Our first piece is Mega Gardevoir. Pixelate allows me to change Round into an incredibly powerful fairy type move, and pairing this Gardevoir with a faster partner Pokemon allows me to fully invest into special attack and still go before my opponent a lot of the time. Up next is our first fast Pokemon, Kangaskhan. Just because I have a few ways to turn Round into another type doesn't mean there aren't solid normal type Pokemon who also get the move. Round will still get a stab boost from a normal Pokemon using it, but that's not why Kangaskhan is here, since, as you might know, Kangaskhan does not have a very good special attack stat. Kanga is a great option here primarily because of its ability. Scrappy allows me to still hit ghost types with my normal type moves, which is crucial, because if Kangaskhan is my only guy left, I wouldn't be able to hit any ghost types. For held item, I gave Kangaskhan the Choice Scarf to ensure that it's as fast as possible, allowing its teammates to gain priority after Kangaskhan goes first. And of course, the Choice Scarf is actually even better on my team than most, because again, I only have one move. So really, the Scarf doesn't have a downside at all. Primarina allows us to get a water type round, which is nice, since there are quite a few powerful Pokemon in the format right now weak to water. Charizard and Aerodactyl are everywhere right now, so this is a solid option. The held item is Mystic Water to further boost the power of my water type move. Sylveon is another Pixelate user on the team, which may seem like an unnecessary double up on typing, but since a lot of the type changing abilities are on Megas, and since Fairy type is still an incredible offensive option, it's still good to have a secondary Fairy type on the team. The Fairy Feather boosts Sylveon's Fairy moves even further, making this thing a true powerhouse. Mega Lopunny is my secondary Mega choice here because it's one of the fastest Pokemon in the format, and it also has the Scrappy ability just like Kangaskhan, meaning I can hit everyone with Round. Again though, Lopunny isn't a good special attacker, so it's here entirely just to give my other Pokemon priority. I'll probably only bring Lopunny if my opponent's team seems to match up really positively against Gardevoir. And finally, the last member of my team is Hisuian Zoroark. Hisuian Zoroark is the only normal type Pokemon on the team that actually has a solid special attack stat. This means that Round will actually do some damage, not to mention that Zoroark's ability, Illusion, will allow me to play some fun mind games with my opponent since I can send out a Pokemon that looks like something it's not. Something you might be wondering is why I chose these Pokemon and 3 normal types, and not any of the other Pokemon that have abilities that change normal type moves into other types. Like Mega Feraligatr has Dragon Eyes, or Mega Glalie with Refrigerate, or Mega Pinsir with Aerolate, and the problem is that, like I said, I already have my Mega slot filled, and I need held items to keep my Pokemon alive and powerful, because I just can't waste that many slots on Mega Stones specifically. Plus, if I'm already Megaing one of my Pokemon, then Feraligatr is stuck high and dry with normal type Round, which is going to be terrible from Feraligatr. But then, okay, what about something like Aurorus, which has Refrigerate, turning normal type moves into ice type moves? I made the decision that we already had too many slow Pokemon, and Aurorus just isn't going to do the damage output on the majority of types that I'm worried about, that I can just get from neutral damage from something like Sylveon, which is one of the most powerful Pokemon in the format. Now, that's not to say there aren't things you could do to change this team around, put in more Pokemon with abilities like this. You certainly could. But this is the team lineup I decided on. I think it could definitely be tweaked and changed, but it's what I decided, and I like these guys, and these are the guys we're going with. So on day 2, I hopped into the team builder on stream, assembled this group of gamers that I had thought of the night before, and then I immediately hopped onto the ranked ladder with really only one goal. We return to the ladder in hopes of winning with our one-move team against even one decent trainer. That's all we really want. Sure. I just really want to win one good match. That's all I really want. Okay, this is going to be Tailwind. This will not kill. But on Whimsicott, it will. I think we just double up here. And get something off screen. Are we faster? No Mega. No Mega. Okay. Well, that might just be because they're protecting turn 1. The common knowledge is to not Mega on your protect turn. Now this should kill, is my understanding of the math. Beautiful. Unnecessary crit. Now, we are slower, but there's really nothing we can do. There's really not much that can be done. I think we just want to get damage on Charizard very badly, and then chip it down with whatever our fast attacker is. Oh, for a second I was like, if it's Charizard X, that would be really good. But it's not. This is Heat Wave? Yeah, every time. Which is fine. Oh, but then Hyper Voice. Yeah, we just lose both our guys here. We are faster. This won't kill, but this is good knowledge to have. Okay, we could have gotten rid of Sylveon that turn. Okay. Now this is where you hit him with the... This is where you hit him with the... This is where you hit him with the Gaha. This is where you hit him with the which one's which. Except he's just going to use spread moves, so it doesn't really ultimately matter. Actually, let's double up. What in the world? Double protect? Wait, you have Tailwind, buddy. That's bad for you. This is the final Tailwind turn. We just need to survive this. Yeah, they really thought they'd be able to know which one's the Zoroark. Joke's on you. We're using the same move. Joke's on you. 2 rounds. That's fine. Preferable, even. Ah, because of the sun. Because of the sun, it lives. Yeah. Oh, that was a crit. Guys, this team, unsurprisingly, is dog shit. We can't be believing that round is bad, okay? Because it's our one thing. It's our one thing. It's our one thing, guys. Come on. Okay, it is Mega Excadrill. The unfortunate reality... Okay, it's not Sandrush. We know that, right? So we'll go first. You... little so-and-so. This is going to do 1 damage. Pardon me. 10 times that. We die to that for sure. Yeah, there's just no universe where I ever live that. Well, we lose this one. That's the one fault with this team, is that we really... Well, the one fault. One of many. We really have to double up. Okay. 1 Pokemon off screen. They're gonna protect T-Tar. Okay, because they're wise on my tricks now. I think they protect T-Tar, and I think we just get some damage on the Sylveon. It won't be good damage, but it'll be damage. Okay, they didn't, which means I definitely should have attacked T-Tar. That's good damage. That is unfortunate. It goes down anyway. It's fine. I'm not going to say this is unwinnable, but it's highly unlikely. Let's do this. The miss? Wait, this is big. I live that? Wait, this is big. Yes. Guys, there's only one Pokemon left. What is it, though, is the thing. We need it to be slow. We need it to be slow and awful. Okay, so it's neither of those things. Okay. It's gonna target Primarina, which is very bad. I think we lose these. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, you're so close. We just need to crit a couple of times. What are you thinking about? What could you possibly be thinking about? It was close. The idea is sound. Sorry, the idea is round. This is a bad matchup for me, but to be fair, every matchup is a bad matchup for me. We do not live Iron Head, or we do live Sucker Punch. I know that. We do live Sucker Punch. It's whatever, I guess. Not every King Gambit runs Iron Head, but a lot of them do. And we do not live it. Swords Dance. Do they have another redirect? I think we have to double this. They'll want to attack with it so badly. They won't be able to help themselves. If I know anything, it's after Swords Dance, all they want to do is attack. We don't live Sucker Punch now, though, I'll tell you that. Okay, they didn't Sucker Punch. Oh, huge! Wait! Nice crit. Maybe it's here. Okay. We go first here. And I don't think they ever protect Frostlass at 100%. Okay, it's Helping Hand Blizzard. So I targeted the right one. The question is if this kills, and I really don't know. I seriously doubt it. I don't think we do 77% here. But maybe. It's happening! It's happening! It's happening. It's happening. Wait. It might be happening. Okay, this definitely lives. On like 20 or something. 30. Citrus, that's fine. We live that. We did it! We did it! I think, unless it's like Quick Claw crit Hyper Voice, I think we're good. Yes! Yes! Oh my god, we lost so many. Oh my god, we lost so many, dude. We won a match using one move. Do we dare go again? If they ever Ironhead the Gardevoir, it is over. But it's probably King Gambit Mousehold or like Frostlass Mousehold frame 1, right? Incineroar King Gambit. This is definitely a fake out turn 1. Would have been good to get the Intimidate. If it's fake out into Gardevoir, maybe we just swap to Primarina. Okay, either way, I think this was the right call. Nice. Let's go here to break a Focus Sash. God damn it. You're running Protect on Incineroar? For what purpose? So, like, Priority and Protect are very bad. They didn't go for Sucker Punch? Hold, please. That's fine. A little unfortunate, but not like the worst thing that could happen. I probably don't outspeed you ever. And I have to focus this. I just have no choice. I have to do damage to King Gambit. I just don't really have a choice. I outsped. Oh, we would have loved for Gardevoir to go second. That's one fatal flaw of this team. I think we need to speed up one of the other guys. I don't live that. Frostlass. Okay. I think we're more concerned with you, probably. Right? Like Aurora Veil, Blizzard, we're more scared of those, I think. And also Shadow Ball, obviously. The question is, I don't... Do we outspeed you? Ugh. Wait? The lowest low roll in history? Okay, we have a very faint chance. There is a very small chance. It is low, but it is possible. We're Fairy Feather, Pixelate. So, like, this isn't going to do nothing. Do we do more? Crit? Do we do more than, like, 60? Oh, it's a war of attrition. Lefties? Ah, that's worse. I just have to survive one move. I just have to survive one move. Maybe they'll be scared of the Hydro Pump miss. Let's go! Oh, I won 2 in a row! I won 2 in a row, baby! Oh my god. Okay. Wow. You just gotta feel so bad if you lose to me. I've only got one move. Oh my god, bro. I can't in good faith really advise it, but in case any of you freaks want to follow in my footsteps and try this team out, here's the rental code. Assuming you want to keep the 6 Pokemon the same, then the only place you can really get creative here is with the stat spreads. Most of these spreads I've kept identical from how they were in the matches that you just watched, but I decided to make Gardevoir much faster before sharing the rental code, since Gardevoir was often going down in just one hit to a ton of the common meta threats anyway, so bulk wasn't really a consideration that I think is very important. You could probably sacrifice some special attack on it and put that towards more bulk, but I generally found myself wishing Gardevoir was faster so that if it wound up being next to one of the other slow Pokemon on my team, it at least had a chance of going first. But yeah, I'd recommend playing around with these stat spreads and figuring out your own way to make it work. Above all though, go out there and just experiment. Try a different one move with different Pokemon. I'd love to hear in the comments about any teams you all wind up building. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe if you're not already, and leave a like and a comment, you know, all that jazz. But what you're seeing on screen right now are my top tier patrons on Patreon. Thank you so much to all of them. If you want to support the show, one of the best ways to do so is on Patreon. Link is in the description. I truly can't thank them enough. They allow me to take risks and do cool stuff and make the projects I want to make, which is awesome. I've really been enjoying making these sort of VGC themed like champions videos. So I'm definitely going to do more of these in the future, doing like weird champions challenge runs with teams that I think are wacky and fun, using them to explain some math or science. So definitely subscribe if you enjoyed this, because there's more of this in the pipeline in the coming months for sure. All right, peace out. Thanks for watching.